How courageous are Granada students? Our question was, what is the true proportion P of students at Granada High School who would be willing to place his or her hand in a box without being given prior knowledge of what was inside? For our study, because we did not have prior knowledge to make a claim indicating the true proportion P, we decided that the best statistical procedure for the data was a 1 proportion Z interval. To sample the students, we had Emil hold a box out to our sample and ask, "Will you put your hand in this box?" If the student put their hand in the box, it was considered a success. If they didn't, it was considered as failure. In order to get as precise confidence interval as we could, we tried to get a large sample. We ended up sampling 52 students through a systematic random sampling. Here is an example of a few of our trials.
Thank you. Put your hand in this box. You put your hand in this box.
Yeah. How? Like?
Just do it.
Okay.
Will you put your hand in this box? Will you put your hand in this box?
No.
I'm good. Okay. Thank you. Will you put your hand in this box?
No.
I can't.
I can't. It's not gonna hurt. There's nothing in it, is there? Oh, there's something in
Put
it.
your hand in this box.
Okay.
So as we had 30 successes and 22 failures, it gave us proportions of 32 out of 52, which is 0.5769, and 22 out of 52, which is 0.4231. Our data, we had proportions 0.5769 and 0.4231. And this showed us that more students were courageous than were cowardly, as there were 57.69% of the students did put their hand in the box. For our inference procedure, we wish to estimate the true proportion P of Granada High School students that will put their hand in a box with unknown contents. We will do a 1 proportion Z interval with a 95% confidence level. Our conditions were that, number 1, we had to get an SRS. We were not able to get an SRS because of challenges getting a list of the whole student population and challenges in sampling those specific students. However, we did take an SRS of places on Granada campus, and we took a systematic random sample from those places, which were the 100 hall, the 300 hall, the 400 hall, and the 200 hall. Because this was not a true SRS, we will proceed with our procedure with caution. Our other conditions were, as n times p is greater than or equal to 10, which was 52 times 0.5769 equals 29.9988, which is greater than or equal to 10, and n times 1 minus p, which is 52 times 0.4231 equals 22.0012, which is greater than or equal to 10, our sample is large enough to assume approximate normality. As Granada has more than n times 10, which is 52 times 10, 520 students, we can assume independence. With all of our conditions addressed, we will continue on with our calculations. we used a standard formula for a 1 proportion z interval, which was our sample proportion plus or minus z star times the square root of our sample proportion times 1 minus our sample proportion divided by the number of statistics we got. That gave us 0.5769 plus or minus 1.96 times the square root of 0.5769 times 0.4231 divided by 52. Now as we simplify this, it gives us a sample proportion of 0.5769 plus or minus our standard error of 0.1343, which gave us our confidence interval of 0.44264 to 0.7112. In conclusion, with 95% confidence, we can say that the true proportion P of Granada High School students that will put their hand in a box with unknown contents is between 0.44264 and 0.7112, or between 44.262% and 72.12%. This tells us that Granada students are not extremely cowardly or courageous, as 0.5 is within our confidence interval. We definitely could have improved our study by taking a larger sample. A larger sample would have given us a more precise confidence interval and would have allowed us to truly see where the student body of Granada High School is in the terms of cowardly or courageous. If we wanted to change this to being about more than just Granada students, such as Livermore residents, we may want to change our sampling method to being a stratified random sample or a cluster sample, using the blocks of Livermore as clusters or strata, which would allow us to take a more precise sample over a greater population. Thank you.